Well, as I mentioned earlier, we're not really even close to the heart of foliage season here in the Northeast. In fact, you'd have to go maybe way up to places like Mount Washington to even see any color change at all at this point. But once it starts happening over the next couple of weeks, it happens in a hurry. So any of you leaf peepers out there, if you want to get that color obviously early on, got to go up towards Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. We really don't start to see any changes here, at least not noticeable changes in Rhode Island and parts of southeastern Massachusetts until we get to, let's say, the last week of September. And then as we get into October, I mean, from the beginning of October to the end of October, that's going to be your real big change. And you can already see here as we get into October, first week anyway, you're starting to see some of those peak or near peak colors in those aforementioned areas to our north. And that's where we're going to see, of course, a lot of folks, I say over the next month or so. But if you want to wait for the big colors here and you don't want to do any traveling, again, you're going to have to wait towards sort of the middle of October and then end of October. And even we've seen years lately, recent memory, where we've had nice colors into the first week of November. So it can really depend on how your foliage season is shaping up. And again, this is just a general estimate forecast from our friends over at SmokyMountains.com. When we're talking about good foliage conditions, you do want a summer that has ample rain, and certainly we had that. So we'll check off that second box right there. We also want, presently, we want mild days and crisp nights. And boy, are we getting that as well. So we'll check that as well. And we don't want any windstorms, and those can happen. You can even get some nor'easters as we head into fall here. Whether or not you have good color, that can just cut things short and blow all those leaves away. And then you're just left with sticks, unfortunately. So we don't want it to get too windy, at least not in the next month or so. All in all, I would say we're shaping up towards some pretty nice color based on our general guidelines that we have for fall foliage. It is a sensational weather pattern here. I hope everyone had a nice Labor Day weekend. We got high pressure in control. Notice that stationary front that I have drawn on the screen here. That extends all the way down to the south, right over the Florida Peninsula and into the Gulf of Mexico. And we've got a few areas of low pressure that are developing along that. We're going to focus in on this one right here and watch how that sort of develops here as we jump forward in time here through tomorrow into Thursday. Still got high pressure in control. Going to be hard pressed to see much of any cloud cover this week here in the Northeast. Then as we head towards the weekend, we start to see that low sort of being steered northward a little bit, and it is gaining intensity. It almost looks, if you didn't know any better, you would say, hey, is that a tropical storm out there? Who knows if it gets some sort of, tropical designation or post-tropical designation or subtropical designation. That remains to be seen, but it does look like a nice little offshore storm here. Now we have an incoming cold front from the west. If these two pieces of energy were to, say, phase together, we could be looking at an absolute soaker at some point into the weekend. As of right now, though, there is some pretty good agreement that these will stay separate enough. Eventually, that cold front's going to come in, and that in and of itself will give us some rain. Right now, we're looking at more of a, say, Sunday time frame. You can see those rain chances starting to increase into the weekend. There goes the piece of energy up into Nova Scotia. Here comes that front, and it sort of does slow down the front. It's not a very progressive flow here in the jet stream, so that could give us a nice little soaking. But notice how skinny that cold front is, so we're not going to expect a ton of rain out of that, fortunately. But unfortunately, it does come over the weekend. 50 tonight, clear and chilly. Abundant sunshine tomorrow and warm, a little bit warmer than today. High 75 to 80 inland. We'll go with a high of 77 for TF Green. Your beach and bay forecast is looking great, mainly sunny, and a high of 75. Yeah, beach season isn't over just yet. As we look at the 7-day forecast, we are dry again until the weekend comes. Saturday into Sunday, we'll be watching for that next chance of rain, and temperatures cool down a little bit behind that cold front as well. So looking pretty good here in the 7-day, guys, for the first week of September.
Yeah, feet up on the desk for you. That's looking good.
Never feet up on the desk for me.
Oh, come on. Stop.
I got to watch the weekend. I got to watch the weekend.
Yeah,
here.
but that's a few days away. Hey,
you and I, we love to procrastinate and push that stuff off.
Yeah, push it off.
I don't think are you a procrastinator?
Sometimes. I mean, when it comes to school.
I think you're going to say when it comes to weather.
Not the weather. I'm not smart enough to do the weather. But I will say it was great to see you talking about the fall foliage.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I have my little orange time.
I see that.
I didn't want to break it out, but I'm like, it's September. I really should wait till October. But I feel better now that you broke out the fall foliage.
You know, it's funny. I thought about an orange tie today too, and I was like, I don't want to rush. You know my thoughts, Tiffany, on
I'm
on
pretending
rushing
it's
the
still
fall.
spring and summer.
What?
With my attire today.
Oh.
I mean, it was nice,
that's
but
true. Yeah.
I'm not ready to switch it over
No, I
into
know.
fall wear.
It's a little confusing your body though when you're wearing a jacket in the morning and it's 48 degrees, and now you're
It's a chilly
sweating
start.
this afternoon.
Absolutely.
And you need the sunblock, yeah.
All right. Thank you.